Hi folks, and welcome to your Gersnet immediate post-match reaction pod, coming to you in association with Forest Precision Engineering. My name's Alec Anderson and I'm speaking to you from outside Ibrox straight after Rangers' 2-1 win over Ross County in this afternoon's SPFL Premiership match. A win that means I think it's 11 victories and maybe one draw in Michael Beale's 12 competitive games in charge since he took over as Rangers manager. We're starting to lose count of the wins, but we can remember that there was only one game he failed to win, and unfortunately for long spells today it looked like it might be two games that he'd failed to win. Ross County making this very uncomfortable for us in the end up, but that's been the kind of day it's been. Listen, I just want to start by giving a big shout out to Colin Armstrong and in particular his son Connor, our cameraman, when Colin and I do these little pods, the pods after the game. They're Colin's idea because I call him the heartbeat of Gersnet, and I don't mean that facetiously. This whole community of ours is very much down to the drive and the innovation that Colin puts into it. They've had a bad weekend, the boys. They've had a bit of a crap one, not here today through absolutely no fault of their own. So if I might be as bold as to speak on behalf of everybody at Gersnet, even though I'm still a relative newbie, we're all thinking about these guys, thinking about the whole Armstrong clan, and all the best to you, and we hope to see you back here at Ibrox soon, boys. I was just speaking to Arthur from East Kilbrowder. He's a big fan of the pod. Speaking to him in the main stand there, always got lovely stuff to say about the pod. Really appreciate it, Arthur. But he was saying how much he enjoyed my comparison to what we did to Hearts the other night with the head in a vice scene in Casino. Well, unfortunately today, for long spells in that second half, it felt like the Rangers support. I felt like I had my head in a vice as Ross County piled on, and we tried to catch them in the counter attack and weren't very good at it. You know, that's how the game ended up going. It started off a lot better than that. John McLaughlin brought in the goals today in place of Alan McGregor, and that seemed absolutely fine, the sensible thing to do. You forget until you see Ross County in the flesh that at least a half a dozen Ross County players would not have been out of place at the start of this weekend's Six Nations. Murrayfield or Twickenham, these are big units, these guys. Sensible to bring John McLaughlin. Alan McGregor wasn't worked particularly at Tynecastle the other night, but Malik Tillman and Glenn Kamara dropped to the bench. Todd Cantwell and Ryan Jack were in to replace them. Fair enough. Maybe, Michael Beale might be in his press conference right now inside the ground telling people that, Tillman and Kamara had a knock or were feeling a bit of strain or something. But for me, I would always rather that if a team has played as magnificently as we did the other night at Tynecastle, particularly when we're up against a team that we know is going to make life difficult for us, like a defensive set-up today, we should let that kind of surfeit of energy, that kind of buzz the players are feeling, we should get that in, especially when the game's only 3 days later. Get the same lineup back on the park and get hammered into the word goal. Let them take that energy, that positivity and the creativity that we've been expressing at Tynecastle the other night and throw it straight into the faces of Ross County. To be honest, when we kicked off, Todd Cantwell in his shocking pink boots curled, I think like 2 or 3 seconds of kicking off, he curled an absolute worldie of a pass with the outside of his right boot from deep, go right through the back, right round the back of the Ross County defence, straight onto the feet of Alfredo Morelos, and right there and then Alfie couldn't convert the chance, and I think that was the game summed up. Cantwell still to get up to match fitness. You can see that he's not fully up to speed yet, but you can also see that he is a line breaker. He is a creator, and when he gets up to full speed, he's going to be something else, I think. He's going to be quite mesmeric. He was creating, but we just couldn't put away the chances when they arrived. Listen, Alfredo has scored, 2 goals in each of his last 2 away games in the league, so I'm not going to knock Alfie. He's been asked to do a lot today because he ended up a lot of times, he was the only striking option we had in the box, despite the amount of creativity going on all around it from the men in blue. Ryan Kent and Borna Barisic in particular were throwing in these balls into the box, which might have looked kind of pointless when Ross County have such a big defence, such physical defenders, but they were working them, they were working County, they were keeping them occupied, which was important because this wasn't low block stuff from Ross County. Your man Danda, especially the number 10, has been getting rave reviews for them. I think the guy they signed him from Swansea, I think. He was piling through early doors. I think John Lundstrom gave away the ball quite 2 or 3 minutes into the game. Danda was onto that, only a last-ditch tackle from Tav, kind of saving the day. They were definitely threatening County, threatening us, so we had to be on our toes at the back. And I think that we weren't slow, we were more kind of patient. We weren't being overly deliberate, we were being kind of purposeful. We were trying to find a way through. We kept the ball moving. Cantwell would deserve man of the match because he was foremost in that to that end. And by the end of the first half, into injury time in the first half, he worked an absolutely magnificent 1-2 with Alfredo Morelos in the box. After Cantwell had kind of glided through a few players trying to find that space, and these were thrilling kind of entertaining moments in the game. It wasn't the all-out kind of total hailstorm of attack that we had at Tynecastle, but there was moments of genuine entertainment and genuine skill from Rangers, and this was one of them where Cantwell, I think Ryan Jack had done the same thing, Ryan Kent had done the same thing about earlier, gliding across the front of the Ross County defence, going in about 2 or 3 players, and then trying to find a pass, and we're getting the pass, but just that last ball was getting cleared off the line or whatever, getting headed away by these big line-out experts they've got at County. Cantwell eventually works a 1-2 with Alfie. Alfie gives it back to him beautifully. There's a great understanding there, as you always get between proper footballers, and he Cantwell pops up to the back post, and then goes in Malik Tillman, who had come on the park by this point because John Lundstrom had got injured. Malik gets kind of slagged for being lazy, which I just don't understand, because he's all over the place, that guy, and there he was adding a bit of bravery to it as well, throwing himself in Derek Johnson style to nod that one into the back of the net. As I say, John Lundstrom had gone off injured about 10 minutes into the game, nobody anywhere near him. I've actually just seen him leaving the ground with the foot in the old kind of plastic temporary stookie, so hopefully that's just a precaution and he's okay, but I think there was nobody anywhere near him. As I say, I think it's the 18-yard box at the Copeland. It's a problem that was very reminiscent of Ridvan Yilmaz when he went down in that game against Aberdeen a few months ago and hasn't been back since. But that had allowed Tillman to come on about 10 minutes into the game, and Cantwell kind of drop back a bit to provide a bit of kind of defensive cover, sitting between Jack and our 4 most attacking players. Because Michael Beale was quite right to think that he should be keeping the door shut at the back. I think a lot of us had thought, why do we need any more than one sitting midfielder against a team like Ross County? And we seem to have got our wish, as I say, when Lundstrom was forced to go off, and we brought on Tillman instead. But we didn't really. Alfie missed a sitter of a header straight after we took the lead. So by the time we came out in the second half, instead of piling it on and putting County to bed, County had actually managed to change it at half time. Who's the fella? Murray, I think he used to play for Hibs. They brought him on for Eamon Brophy. He started giving us problems, Murray. And about an hour in, we took off Ashton Sakala. Again, I don't know. I'm not really sure. I'm no tactical expert. To me, it looked like attack was the best form of defence against Ross County. We've taken off Sakala, who was giving them a lot to think about, and straight away there. Who did we bring on? We brought on Glenn Kamara, and straight away County are winning the nightmare scenario. They get 3 corners in the trot. In the third corner, they changed the angle, they whipped the ball in. I'm going to, my usual excuse, I'm up the back of the main stand over towards the Copeland. I didn't have a clear view of it. It looks to me like John McLaughlin is struggling to get to the ball. Somebody's certainly struggling to do their job anyway in the defence when that ball goes in. And guess who scores? Jordan White, the man who scored more goals against Rangers for Ross County than most Rangers strikers have scored for Rangers. So in it goes, and you're thinking, is this going to be a bad day at the office? But a part of me, I'm not just saying this now being smart after the event, a part of me was kind of happy to see Rangers tested this way, because I say they hadn't gone back to the Geo ways. It was quite obvious. I know when you look at the Hearts game and you're thinking, right, well, we've put 7 goals past Hearts at Tynecastle this season alone. But that great run we've got against Tynecastle, I know it's got a lot of paranoid types from across the city questioning Hearts' intent when they play Rangers. But I think it's because Hearts are the third force in Scotland. And unfortunately for us, for the last year or so, we've been second. And we've built up this great record against Hearts, like a 100% record over the last couple of years, because Hearts are duty bound, especially in front of their own fans, to come at us. When the team in third is facing the team in second, they've got to go and challenge. Ross County, like so many of our opponents, their ambition this season is just to stay in the league. That's Ross County's usual ambition. So they play to that end. A draw for them today would be a massive thing. So I was actually quite happy to see Rangers being forced to face up to this new the kind of Michael Beale revolution, if you like. Everything went so well for us the other night. Hearts maybe kind of played into our hands by thinking they were going to go for us at Tynecastle on Wednesday. Ross County had no intention of going all out at us, so it was a different test altogether. And I think eventually we did pass it, but it took us a bit longer than we would have liked. Listen. 75 minutes, I think, we had the free kick on the main stand side over at the Copeland, right in front of me, but your unreliable correspondent here was so busy watching Conor Golson having a rammy with one of the Ross County defenders that I just saw the ball going past Conor, and I thought, well, Conor's the foremost attacker, so that's a crap free kick, whoever hit it. And then the ball just continued and went into the net, and it turned out it was Borna Barisic scoring for the second Saturday in the trot, and I think it took a wicked deflection off the Ross County box, but in it went, off the Ross County wall, but in it went, relief all round. and you're thinking, can we push on now and just put this to bed? No, we couldn't. Nicholas Raskin come on, our new signing, and he looks like a baller. He looks like a player. Some lovely touches, obviously full of confidence. But I think we still slightly have that thing. I want to see him when he's up to speed. But to quote Lady Macbeth talking about our husband, we don't lack ambition, but we lack the illness should attend it. And I think we need somebody who's going to be a bit of a bam pot and is going to take it to teams like Ross County, physical teams like Ross County, make them kind of scared to come at us the way they did today. To that end, I'd like to compliment Ben Davis for an absolute cracker of a tackle about kneecap level on your man Danda. Very good player, as I say, for Ross County, their number 10 from Swansea City. He gave us made a few cracking runs in the first 20 minutes or so, and then I think about 25 minutes Ben Davis came out and just clocked him one, and that was kind of the last we heard from him. But they brought on Ross Callan in his place, 66 minutes just between County equalising and us taking the lead, and he was putting himself about. Probably should have been booked. A lot of kind of angst, kind of anxiety caused by the referee today. He was booking Rangers players for things that he wasn't booking Ross County players for. No, but we can't blame that on the result in the end up, other than the performance in the end up. As I say, by the end of the game, we looked as if we were running out of ideas. We were lumping it forward. County were just getting it straight back. We weren't able to, even we were kind of going 1-on-1, kind of 2-on-2 against them at the back. We weren't able to capitalise, and that's a bit concerning. But see, everybody's bedding in just now. It's still a new system under Beale, a new regime, and that's us got a week off. And Partick Thistle, championship side in the Scottish Cup next weekend. Hopefully we can learn from them today. And as I say, I think by the time Todd Cantwell deserved man of the match today, not just sponsors man of the match, I think just generally the football pundits man of the match. I think by the time we get him and Raskin up to speed, maybe a few more players back from injury, we're going to be kind of unplayable. But yeah, it's a test I think that they came through today, and I just want to end, as I say, by saying a big shout out to Colin and his son Connor. That we're all thinking about them. We are doing a Michael Beale style substitution for the main pod tomorrow night at 9:30 live on our YouTube channel. Craig Ray is coming in like Malik Tillman to replace Colin in the host seat, and he'll be hosting author and Evening Times journalist Chris Jack and the irrepressible metalhead Mr. Gary Valentine. So please join us then, folks, and thanks for your time. Cheers now.